Good morning. It is Mickey or your friend Michelle, however you know me by, um, with Live Life Whimsically. And here on my channel, I talk about other content creators, real estate, politics, paganism, witchcraft, whatever whims comes along my way. And recently, I've just been breaking down so I could understand Becky and the Nonsense Channel to understand what she's trying to achieve, what it is she's doing, why she has such vitriol towards Molly Golightly, even though there's many other content creators that do the exact same thing. And in fact, in my opinion, I would say that Becky herself does exactly what Molly Golightly does, only in the guise of coming against the misinformation. It really is kind of funny to me that she does that and then turns around, does the exact same thing, right down to getting monetized, having an Amazon wish list, all of that stuff. I left a link to her video because again, uh, do you, girl, and make your money. I'm fine with that. I am trying to do the same thing. We all are. And anyone who comes out onto YouTube and says they're not is, full of crap. I mean, I guess there might be some people that do it for the joy of doing it, but I'm actually looking at it as a side hustle. And so, if I can ride the coattails of somebody, I'm gonna, and build a community while I'm at it, because I also have a huge justice appendage that I don't, this gives me a place to voice those things and say how I feel about people that treat other people like crap. So I'm trying to build a community of people that don't want to live in an echo chamber and want to discuss what current events, what's happening on YouTube, and try to become better humans in the process. So the video that we're going to look at today, this came from 7 months ago, and it's The Confusion Continues in the Search for Justice for Marvon. Just like on all the other videos, I am looking at this for the first time with you. I probably saw it when it came out 7 months ago, but I have ADHD, so it's really hard for me to remember everything. But I thought this would be good to be able to go over all these things, see what we could find, see if we could pick anything apart, see if we could get answers. And if you are a Becky lover from the island of misfit toys, please, please, please don't hesitate to come and tell me what I've gotten wrong and give me the receipts for those things. I don't hate the girl, and I'm just trying. And no one will be booted out of my channel for disagreeing with me. Only if you're super disrespectful to me and call me names. I try not to call anybody names. I did say the island of misfit toys, but that's mostly a joke, and it has nothing to do with how anybody looks or things they can't control. But if you don't like that, tell me that too. Please like, subscribe, and without further ado, let's hear how the confusion continues, since I'm pretty sure Becky is the author of Confusion. I mean, and I want to say that too, because for real, that's how I feel. I feel like, how does it, that the confusion continues. It was the title to this one. Sorry, I'm getting distracted while I try to read. And the definition of confusion is lack of understanding and uncertainty. And my question is, do her sheep even understand that she leads them like a cult leader, in my opinion, and that she confuses them for the purpose of, in my opinion, growing her channel and profiting off of them? And what makes her any different than any other content creator on YouTube? How is she any different from Molly? Do the followers understand, or subscribers, that she's the author of Confusion? The things that she does are meant completely to distract and confuse you from actually whatever it is she's even playing on the screen. So when she says she's got receipts, at least the one of the times that I saw in the earlier videos that I did on her, the receipts she was showing actually showed the opposite of what she was trying to say. She said people were angry and saying bad things about Letitia, and asking questions, and there was none of that out there. All of it was gone. And this was early on, so people wouldn't have had a chance to go in and delete those comments. And even if they did, then why would you show that as your proof? There was nothing in those comments that made Letitia, Molly, or anybody involved in the story, even Katie Joy at that point, look terrible. So that the receipts she brings and the way she scrolls and the little animations and gifs and stuff she throws up there, that's all meant to keep you from actually paying close enough attention to critically think about what's happening. The last thing Becky wants her subscribers to do is critically think. She's the director of misinformation, in my opinion. And then, so now we're just going to look at this other convoluted road of misinformation and twisting the so-called facts. And again, how the heck is that Amazon wish list going, Bubs? I really would like to know. All right, I sped this up. It's only 13 minutes. We'll be done quick. Let's go. Let's see what we can hear.
Hey everyone, welcome back. As I've been trying to piece the story together, I have been going through my album and finding clips that I have taken over the last few weeks, and I stumbled upon one from July 15th, 2022. It was a YouTube clip featuring Molly Golightly, Justice for All, and a few other creators. You might be asking, why is that relevant now? We're just trying to piece together the timeline of events and the statements made and by whom. This live in particular was problematic and has been continued to be problematic because at first it starts off with Molly reading a text message from Letitia. This was right before Letitia was leaving to Arizona from Georgia. She was still in Georgia at the time. This was, again, the 15th of July, 2022. In the first clip, we'll start off with Molly reading the text messages that she says she supposedly got from Letitia. Again, this is right before Letitia was able to travel from Georgia to Arizona. At the time of this live, they were still raising funds for this trial.
Okay, so we have an update, okay, about Marvon. And it's basically, you know, so basically, I'll tell you what she said. She said that it's okay for me to share what she sent me. She's really upset because people are thinking that she's a scammer, that she's a scammer, or what do you call it? She's been very upset. So this is what she said. Where it started was I had said, you know, I wonder if he will hear your voice, you know, blah, 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 about, you know, going to see him. So then I say, if I was one of those attorneys in that office, I would skip lunch, I would skip dinner, I would work till midnight and come in on the weekends. All we need is this signature by the judge. That's all they need. A lot of people have been jumping up on panel that work in the courts and medical. So we're getting new information every day. So this is what she said, and I'm going to call her. She said, yes, the lawyer is working with the money I have right now. The retainer, $4,000, $10 to $15 for the fight. Emergency paperwork was filed yesterday for the judge. And just like they said, this is not about to be an easy task. We went through 15 lawyers in one day just trying to get someone to even take the case. Everyone is attacking me about money, but that is nowhere the amount that's needed. But before I ask for people to continue to donate, I will sell everything I own to make sure this lawyer is paid. The lawyer at Keystone was too expensive, and I still had to wait to see if they were willing to take the case. Then I got a call from the lawyer I'm working with now. So she's a little cheaper, and she's not a big law firm. But just like she said, she would do everything in her power to get me to my son. So I'm trying to do the best that I can with what I have, and in my case, very limited. When I'm the mother and she's the wife. And I said, can I please give an update for the fundraiser? I'll help get the money for you. And she says, yes, ma'am. Are you going live tonight? I said, no, I'm not going to go live. I said, I'm not going to go live, but is it okay if I go downstairs and record it, meaning pre-record it, and put it out as a video? I can call you in 2 minutes and you can kind of explain. I just want them to hear it from your mouth. You know what I'm saying, because they're calling me a scammer, artist, and Justin, and it's just one particular little group of trolls. They're mad because they started all of this on Facebook and they didn't want YouTubers involved. And if YouTubers weren't involved, then we wouldn't be where we're at today. Calling you in a minute, I will be live, screw it. And she says, okay, these people are so mean, I'm being called a scammer also. And then I said, it's only like.
So can I just say how terrible it must have been for her at this point, because this is the very beginning. She hadn't even gone out to see her son yet. And all of these anti-Molly Golightly people had already started attacking her about the money and asking her what she was doing with it. And she hadn't yet even got out to see her son. And like I said a million times before, when you donate something, you turn your pretty head and you walk away. You don't sit around and ask for receipts for what happened to it. But right here, she clearly said she took $4,000 and gave it to an attorney after she interviewed 13 attorneys. That seems pretty fucking, smart to me to be looking for them. Plus, she was having trouble even finding any attorneys to take the case. This had to be a freaking nightmare for this woman.
6 people. Your son has 15,000 people behind you and your son.
Actually, it's 45,000 or 50,000 now.
Okay, so this is the thing, you guys.
There was a few things mentioned in this section of the live that I wanted to note. You'll hear Molly ask Letitia as she's reading the text messages for an update on the fundraiser. However, I don't think that was ever given. This is a 5-hour-long video, so I have not sat and watched the whole thing, and I don't intend on doing that, probably ever. I don't think I have the attention span for that. However, if you want to do that, so please do. Here's the next clip.
Live right now. Can I ask you a question? Because I kind of just made a public plea and kind of begged for Drea to just say yes already. And I read the message where you said that you raised the fourth, that you had the 4,000, and that you just everything that you said to me, and that you're willing to sell your stuff. And I just freaked out. I was just like, why does it have to be this way? Like, how did it even come to this? I'm willing to take down all of these videos and never bother you again if you can let this happen. But we don't know if it's even in her power. Do you know if it's in her power to let you go or no?
It's to the point where I don't know anything. I don't know nothing. And it's so scary because, I'm looking online.
And also, I'm just going to point out right here, misinformation and confusion. And no one ever goes back to Dre and says that she has anything to do with this. But if at this point she doesn't know, the mother doesn't even know who's making the decisions, because this is months ago, right? This is back in July or August. She doesn't know if Dre is the one pulling the shots or calling the shots or anything. So when there was misinformation all around, and honestly, in my opinion, especially with nonsense, Becky, she had no business going out and talking about any of this stuff, because she knew even less than Molly did. She knew less than Katie Joy did. And so for her to go out and spin it in a way that made it seem like suddenly this woman, the mother, had some sort of Svengali effect and was pulling all of these scams in the background and doing all of this stuff just to confuse so she could make money, really is a horrible thing to say or do, especially at this point when Becky knew nothing, or whichever one of the Tessas was doing this, because at this point they're still hiding behind the voice changer and not showing you who they are. And in my opinion, from the things that I've heard, the reason why they hid behind all of those things was because they had been kicked off, in particular, Becky, off of different social media platforms before for doing just this once before or several times before. So this isn't her first dance. Becky is bored and needs to come out and try to cause strife in other people's lives to detract from what's happening in her own life, because I feel like she is bored and lonely and probably wasn't one of the popular girls in school, and she still can't get over it, much like little Miss Katie Joy. All my opinion, might not be true. If somebody knows different, bring receipts and tell me.
I'm seeing people say they hearing rumors that she may take my son to Mexico.
No, don't tell us.
We call the hospital. They tell them, no, he's not here. The lawyer trying to work as fast as she could, but she can't do nothing until the judge even give me a hearing. It's like I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. And then I'm
Hey,
trying to
hi,
stay
guy.
offline because I don't want, the worst thought is two thoughts that keep going through my head.
Okay.
If she gets just that upset and call in because she can't go and say, pull the plug, I ain't gonna be able to see my son never again. Number two, like I was listening to Justin, if it's out of her hand and ain't nothing else we can do but wait on the judge to do this, how long he'll take to even say yes or no? So it's kind of hard. It's like you're in a rock and a hard place. But going back to the money, every dime that everybody has given me, I did what I'm supposed to do with it. But just like I said before, I keep being accused of being a scam artist or stealing, or I'm too quiet, and this, that, and the other. I would sell everything that belongs to me to make sure that this lawyer get what they need to help fight so that I can see my son. I don't know what to do. My family know that I go out the back for my kids. This ain't no different. I'll start from the ground up again if I have to. But I'm not going to keep being talked to all kind of way and make it seem like I'm the worst person in the world, because I'm not.
Especially when nobody knows this woman. Nobody knows anything. And if we're going to talk about people that get in trouble and have records and file bankruptcies and stuff, look, that bankruptcy thing and having some criminal records from when you were younger, or even when you were older, for crying out loud, that's not something you hold people accountable for after they have served their time, after they have gone through the process. Bankruptcy is there as a remedy to help you with insurmountable debt that you can't get through. And it's not an easy process. I personally went through a bankruptcy. It's not an easy process. It takes years to do what you have to do. And if you have somebody that's in that process going through it with you, that's involved in the process, but also is trying to get disability so that you can at least have some semblance of a life when you get out of it, that's not easy either. It's tons of weeks and months and years of paperwork and proving that you deserve to have these debts discharged. And you know what happens when you're finished with your bankruptcy? You're just as broke as you were the day before you went into the courthouse. And by the way, corporations do it all the time and call it good business decisions. Can we stop shaming people for financial crises that are not any of our fault in the United States? Because look at how the wage inequality is. See, now I'm running down a whole nother tangent. But yeah, let's not shame people for having criminal records. I wrote a bad check to Publix, this grocery store in Florida, when I was 20 years old. I spent 6 months on probation. I got arrested, was in a holding cell for that. Should I be held responsible for that? I hold a state license. They know that I did that. I told everybody. I've been fingerprinted, background checked more times than I can count. I was not always a nice person. I filed bankruptcy. I have medical bills I haven't paid to this day. So no, we're not going to do that because everybody got a skeleton.
And then in my past, they keep saying my past, but I stole from myself. Because what I did was, yes, I wrote a check, fed my kids, and I had to pay for it. But I didn't go and take nothing from nobody. So to keep calling me a scam, and I'm sorry to raise my voice, but I'm getting upset because it's not fair. Only the first post I made was just saying I wanted to see my son. Not the
It does seem like Nonsense has been taking notes directly from Union Rock, also known as Jason. That's the feeling of her crap show, and then his crap. They got to be in cahoots. Yeah, and Katie Joy's all up in this. It smells of Katie Joy. I don't know if it's just because she was a fan, Becky was a fan, or Becky was actually asked to do it, or if she even has some involvement with Dre. Anything is possible at this point. No one knows, because that's the whole point of Becky at the Nonsense channel, is to spew nonsense to keep people distracted from what's really happening. That's what I think anyway, in my opinion.
be bashed the way I'm being bashed.
I'm sorry.
Not for you to be bashed for taking up for me or speaking out. You and Justin, y'all don't deserve.
So you just heard Letitia's statements on July 15th, 2022, what her intention.
Yeah, they were being bashed because they were speaking out on behalf of Letitia, because Letitia chose not to work with Katie Joy anymore. Katie Joy cannot stand any kind of rejection. And when she gets rejected, she lashes out, digs into people's backgrounds, puts all their public information out on the webs for people to look at, and then tries to smear them using that same same information that they get. This woman, Becky, just hopped on the bandwagon for whatever reason, which I still don't know. And if anybody does know, I would love to hear that reasoning behind it. She jumped in just to help and spew it more. And in my opinion, was actually better at it than Becky or than Katie Joy ever was.
Where she states that they did file paperwork with the court. They needed to wait for a judge's signature on the paperwork. However, as of the most recent update, today is July 29th, it was stated that she is not intending on filing paperwork, that they've never filed paperwork. These misstatements are why there has been so much confusion and lack of transparency in this case.
I have paperwork right now sitting with my attorney, and I say I file paperwork all the time. I'm not an attorney. Neither is Letitia. She is stressed out at this point to the max, not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing if her son was going to live or die within the time frame that she needed to be able to get out there to try to see him, not knowing if the wife was going to let her see her son. There were so many things. I can't even imagine the amount of confusion. I suffer with mental health issues and have depression and anxiety. And since probably November, my depression has been in overdrive. And I have not been able to think past just normal, everyday, brush your teeth, take a shower, try to get some movement in things. If my son was sick and dying in a hospital someplace, if you held me to a standard of understanding and using proper verbiage when I'm trying to explain what's happening or what I'm doing legally, then you can just go fuck yourself, Becky, because that's a bunch of bullshit right there. That's the worst thing you could ever do, is try to hold somebody so distressed accountable for misstatements that they might have made, not intentionally trying to mislead anybody, unlike you, who is purposely trying to mislead people.
It keeps going back and forth, and anytime you ask for clarification, again, you are blocked or deleted. Here's the final clip of this video.
Yeah, blocked or deleted or called out on your channel. Isn't that what you do, Becky? Isn't that what Katie Joy does? And how come you don't talk about that stuff? And your receipts are non-existent. Again, just like I said before, you had in the other video that I showed, one of the first ones, you had all these receipts spinning by, and there was nothing bad in those things, but yet you kept saying, look at how they're talking smack, and they're all mad, and they want this and they want that, and they're not getting any answers. There was nothing like that on there. You just do this whole, teal swan thing. Don't do as I say, do as I tell you to do, or don't do as I do as I say.
Something that I know, if you look back on every post, every video, I never did anything to hurt Drea, okay? But if she want me to do that, and in order to see my son, I'm willing, I'm begging you, please, ma'am, I just want to see my son. That's it. I want my family to say, what if this is our last time saying goodbye? I don't know. I don't even know what kind of condition he's in right now.
Can you imagine being so heartless that even though you don't like somebody, that you won't even give them any information on how their child is doing? All I can say about that to Dre is karma. And again, like I said yesterday, how come nobody talks about some of the actually odd things that Dre has done throughout this entire time, from even before Marvon was in the situation that he's in now? The way that she behaved on camera for thousands of people to look at was a little disturbing, to say the least. Just the knife holding, the talking about trying to control her husband, that she trapped him in the marriage. This person, I was married to somebody like that. It is not an easy situation to be in. And I can surely tell you that if I had been in a coma, my ex would have never have told my family what was happening to me. He would have tried to keep them from me. He tried to keep them from me when I wasn't in a coma. So to think that this woman didn't do that after watching displays of it on her live streams is cotton picking ridiculous to me. And the fact that Becky wears blinders to all the other people, Dre, Katie Joy, anybody else who does the same exact stuff, and then doesn't call that out. If I would be more respectful of what Becky says and does if she was a non-discriminatory about how she says things about people. But it's just Molly. It's always just Molly.
I'm begging you, Andrea McCray, if I did anything to hurt you, I apologize. But all I want to do is see my son. That's it. Yes, if I run out here and act like a fool, then they'll say, oh, she should have did it in this way or that way. There's no win. It's no win. I try to do it the legal way. No win. I go out here and act a plumb fool. Then I'm like what she said I was in the video. I'm violent. I'm this. I'm that. I'm nowhere near that.
You have done nothing but act with class the entire time, ma'am. Just class. That's the only thing you have done. Because to be honest with you, I don't know if I could have had you restrained. So.
Well, there you have some of the confusion. You saw 3 clips in this video, short clips from a 5-hour-long live that compared.
You see all the little pop-ups she does? That's designed to keep you distracted from what you might have just heard and what you might have just been thinking, and to stop you from critically thinking. I had to turn the video off, or not turn the video off, but not look at the video when I listened to some of the other stuff, because I found myself being drugged in just by the pop-ups, the GIFs, the little emojis and stuff that she throws up on the screen. That is all designed to confuse you and keep you from thinking for yourself. She has a narrative, and she wants you to believe her narrative and no other narrative at all.
To what we have heard today and the current updates lead to confusion. It was stated that the $4,000 retainer had been paid, that paperwork had been filed in the court. They were just waiting on a judge's signature. Molly asked for an update on the fundraiser at that time. She seemed to be really upset about things. Dre had reached out seeking an agreement. Letitia publicly apologized because of that.
And by the way, things can sit on a judge's desk for a long time and not get a signature. And you can go back and amend the paperwork that was on the judge's desk and put something else out there, or pull it out completely if it's not been yet signed by the judge. Again, where did you get your law license, Becky?
Text message offered Thankfully, no matter what happened, they put their differences aside and they were able to make an agreement so Letitia could see her son. Now we're just left with a lot of questions of why are we still raising funds and how exactly will those funds benefit?
How are they raising funds? How will those funds benefit Vaughn or the family was what she's going to say next. I'll finish it out, but it's only a couple of seconds left of the video. It's none of your effing business. Don't want her to have any of your money. Don't give her any. You do not get to manipulate the whole entire world, Becky. You are not the queen of the freaking universe.
Marvon or the children. Again, thank you for watching another one of my crazy videos. If you
Well, I'll give her that. It is a crazy video. So yeah, that's today's live stream. Thank you, that high guy. So I'm kind of considering later today, just pulling another one out, like a live one, and going through it because my roomie is really getting kind of interested in all of this. And the first time she ever heard Becky talk on a live stream, she was just coming in from work and she said, "Stop that video." And she said, "Listen, just play that back a second." And I had to rewind something and then I played it again for her. Pardon me. And she says, "Oh my gosh, right there, that's gaslighting. Oh my gosh, she's saying that because she's lying about this." She said it just called so many things out. It was beautiful. I'm not as good at it as my friend is. So if I can get her to be on the same page tonight, we'll pull a live video that's not too long, speed it up, and we'll go live and we'll do that. So once again, thanks for joining me. If you liked this video, maybe consider subscribing if you want. And otherwise, I would love to see you guys come back tonight. If not, maybe this weekend. Thanks again. Share the video. Have a good day. And thanks, Dad High Guy, for all the comments. I really appreciate you.